Hi, everybody. It's Stick to Wrestling. It's Tuesday. We are live on YouTube. It is WWE TV's Megan Morant. And my goal, Megan, is to get you in so much trouble with
Oh,
Michael Cole
no.
and the bosses at WWE that this is the last time we talk on video and on the podcast. How are you, Megan?
I am doing so great. Thank you so much for having me on. My worlds are combining. I love 98.5 The Sports Hub. I am kind of embarrassed to admit this, but I listen to Felger and Maz most days. Not all 4 hours, but I do tune in quite a bit. And so now to be on here with you is a lot of fun for me. So thanks for having me
Yeah, it
on.
was a year ago. It was a year ago where we did the podcast. We did a little bit longer form because I had questions about Megan Morant, and I wanted
Oh,
the
yes.
audience to. I wanted the audience to. I had a much longer. I had a Paul Heyman like open to the show, but I wanted to get a high ranking member of the WWE TKO experience on the
Do I
podcast
get
to
sunshine music? What the heck?
answer. Maybe I can get the video popped up here, but I have questions about WWE. I needed a high ranking member of TKO to give me my answers. The Royal Rumble happened. Raw happened. Let's start with the Rumble, Megan. What was your biggest takeaway from the Royal Rumble on Saturday night?
Personally, I thought the Rumble was fantastic. I think it was one of the best Rumbles that we've
Top
had
five,
in recent
top
memory.
five of all
And
time.
I'm so glad to hear you say that because, there's been a lot of haters on the internet that did not agree with us. I feel like you either loved it or you hated it, which is
Mhm.
is pretty good, right? Nobody is like,
Yep.
it was okay. So that's good. That's what you want, right?
Yep. So I thought it was
I thought it was
a
great.
top
I
five
mean,
Rumble of all time, and I can yeet in public. I can yeet in
oh, so
public,
you are
Megan.
you are on the right side of history. You
I
are
usually am.
also supporting Jey Uso. I was so happy to see Jey have his moment. I do a bunch of work with Sam Roberts. He is my
Yep.
co-host, and Sam predicted this. And I think he's the only person I know that predicted it. And when he laid it out, I was like, it does make a lot of sense. It was like, well, Cena has to go to the Elimination Chamber because it's his last elimination chamber. Like Punk has the favor. So Punk can't win because there's the favor. And then it was like, I guess Jey could win, but there were so many people in the men's rumble in particular that could have won, right? I mean, it was like, I could see a path for Drew. I could see a path for Seth. I could certainly see a path for Roman. And then, like, when you had, I think it was like 6 people left in the rumble, looking around just at like the depth of talent on this roster. I mean, it is remarkable, right? It was Cena, Punk, Jey, Roman, um uh
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul. Like I don't know if I said Seth, but he was in there too. It was just like completely insane and so much fun to watch. It's like, I was talking about it later. It was like, gosh, there's so much talent on this roster. It was like people like Grayson Waller, who I think the world of, and I think is such a star, like wasn't even included in the Rumble. It's like there's just so much depth in WWE right now, and I'm eating it all up.
It's one of the things that I actually liked is that there wasn't the quote unquote tag team who you don't think is going to win, just kind of in there because you need to put somebody in the number slot, and
Sure.
for whatever. But I was happy Jay won. I had predicted Cena or Punk to win. I said watch out for Jey Uso as a dark horse.
I like it.
Um,
I like
so
it.
I had that on the record. And I purposely did not listen to your feelings podcast with not Sam Roberts, because I wanted to hear your answers authentically, and not kind of already know what direction you were and then follow up with questions or anything like that. So I have not listened to the Not Sam podcast yet.
Okay.
Hopefully that becomes
That's
a
fine.
regular thing, and
Yes,
it's under the
hopefully.
WWE umbrella, and you
We'll
get more
see.
money for it because I'm hopeful for that. You could have made an argument for Penta. You could have made an argument for Jacob Fatu to win the Rumble. I'm happy for Jey. I'm happy he's going to get a championship match. In the landscape of WWE, I'm kind of not sure how he main events, but in my long history of WWE, it's like, well, this is a main event match, even if it doesn't go on last. So
Yes. I mean,
in my projecting out, Megan, it's if Jey Uso beats Gunther, opening match night 1, opening match night 2, that's a moment, and that's a great moment for Jey Uso, and that's kind of the more important thing for me is that Jey Uso realizes his dream of being the world champion.
Well, in WWE, we have sometimes these moments where it's like real raw emotion trickles over into the product, and we get to watch that unfold. And I think we had one of those instances last night on Monday Night Raw when the crowd in Cleveland asked for, run back the entrance, play the song again. And everybody is celebrating, so excited for Jey Uso. And you have this moment where like he's in the middle of the ring and he is getting emotional. Like, and we could all feel that because here's a guy that it wasn't all that long ago that Roman Reigns said to him, like, when people talk about you, they say, oh, which one is he? Right? You were a tag team wrestler. And now we've all been on this journey with Jey Uso breaking out as a single star. And he got to this moment that seemed impossible almost a little over a year ago. And here we are. It's like he is going to the grandest stage of them all. He's going to have a main event matchup at WrestleMania. And I had the question my question was, is getting there good enough for Jey Uso? And as he's getting emotional in front of the crowd, I'm thinking maybe just getting to the dance is enough. But then Gunther's music hit and we saw a totally different side of Jey and the confidence just oozing out of him saying, look, I'm walking into WrestleMania as the Royal Rumble winner, but I'm walking out of WrestleMania as the champion. And to me, Jey elevated even higher yesterday night on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, and the Jey Uso story is great. Goes from quote unquote no response when he entered his first Rumble to winning the thing all those years ago. Great tag team. He's gonna I see great things for Big Jim. At some point he's great. But the Jey Uso story is fabulous. And of course, the creative mind in me is like, does Jey wait till Mania? Does he try to do something at the Chamber, jumpstart it? There's precedent for this where John Cena has jumped his championship match.
We don't even know who's going to be, though. I mean, remember, Cody Rhodes
is Gunther going to make it to? Is he going to make it to WrestleMania?
Right. Cody is the one who gave Jey his opportunity to become a single star by bringing Jey Uso over to Raw. Now, Cody's had a lot of eye-opening moments lately where he realized people he thought were his friends are not his friends. So I don't know.
I blame Cody for that.
I mean, I know you're not a Cody Rhodes guy, but it will definitely be interesting to see what Jey does, right?
Yeah,
I mean, as far as we know, he's friends with Cody Rhodes, but Cody Rhodes has had a lot of friends turn their back on him as of late.
I would say that Cody has turned its back on a lot of friends, including Kevin Owens, who Kevin is right. That's a t-shirt that I may or may not have purchased.
Oh, gosh.
But so if I'm Jey, I'm like, why not go for Cody? There's history there. They're tag champs. There's longer history than that. But I think Jey's going to go for Gunther because I think Jey thinks he can beat Gunther. And Jey almost beat Gunther on Saturday night's main event. And I think Jey's got the right scouting down. And, if I'm Jey, Jim, Big Jim, you want to stand in the corner, help me out a little bit? I'm not above that. Win if, as Jesse the Body Ventura famously said, win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat and don't get caught.
Jesse the Body has been so good on Saturday night's main event. Oh my gosh, he's been phenomenal. I didn't know what to expect. And then Bill Simmons had him on his podcast and he just cut a 90-minute promo the entire podcast. And I could not wait until Saturday night's main event and he delivered.
Jesse's somebody I'd love to meet one day. I've not met Jesse. I've never talked to him. I've just been a fan of his for all these years. And so hopefully one day that'll happen. Some other stuff from the Rumble. Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and CM Punk seem all entangled. And Roman on the floor after Punk dumps him and Rollins out goes, "We were teammates not a month ago. What are you doing?" And then Seth Rollins, with the vengeance of all, does a double stomp on Roman, and then later on stomps his head into the steel steps. And now the update is that we may not see Roman Reigns for a while. My guess is somehow he ends up in the Chamber. But that's all health and scheduling and all that stuff. What do you think about the triangle of CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins.
Well, CM Punk officially is going to the Elimination Chamber because last night he defeated Sami Zayn on Monday Night Raw. So he's in the chamber, and you're forgetting who else is in the chamber. John Cena in the chamber. And CM Punk was on a podcast, and he was very upset that Cena just got to declare himself for the chamber. And in all of the promos leading up to the Royal Rumble, CM Punk also called out John Cena as well. So it's like, now you add John Cena to the mix, you already have this tension between Punk and Seth that we are very well versed on. You add Roman to the mix to that. And then, Seth and Roman goes back a decade. I thought it was really interesting to see Seth come out last night on Raw. First of all, I love the drip. Seth always has fantastic outfits, but I felt like yesterday's was a whole nother level. And, after Seth did the double stomp to Roman, and I've always been one to sing his song and cheer Seth freaking Rollins. After he does the double stomp to Roman, I'm wondering, how is the crowd going to react to Seth Rollins? And the crowd is on their feet. They're cheering Seth. And Seth says, Cleveland, I'm going to tell you some things that you're going to like and maybe some things that you're not going to like. And first he puts over Jey Uso. I'm like, okay, everybody's on Seth's side. And then he says, I love to see people get what they deserve. And that's exactly what happened to Jey Uso. And speaking of people getting what they deserve, CM Punk. And then he starts to kind of trash CM Punk a little bit. I'm like, okay, I don't know how the crowd's gonna be on board. And then he says, now Cleveland, I'm gonna go there. Roman Reigns. So I'm like, uh-oh. I'm just wondering what's going on with Seth, where this is all going. And, Seth, whether Roman is injured or not, we don't know because the tribal chief is keeping all of his injury updates to himself, which I don't blame him. Why would you tell your opponents what you're actually dealing with? But Seth would love nothing more than taking credit for putting Roman Reigns on the shelf. And I mean, he is right. He did. If Roman is dealing with these injuries, Seth is the reason. But I ask you, Mr. Bloodline, it is interesting noticing Roman Reigns, for 3.5 years in WWE, he has been so dominant. He has defeated just about everyone. But whenever he's lost, WrestleMania 40, he goes away for a long time. And then the Rumble doesn't go the way he wanted it to, and suddenly he's out indefinitely. I mean, is Roman Reigns really hurt? Or is this what Roman Reigns does when he does not win?
This is Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman being the ultimate opportunist, the ultimate strategist. And when things don't go their way, they regroup and they replan. That's how I feel about it. And it wouldn't shock me either if there's a little bit of a misstep in this injury reporting. I'm not saying I don't know, but it's not like Paul Heyman hasn't manipulated the system in the past.
This is why WWE doesn't have the rules like the NFL. We don't have to, we can't question the injury report in WWE.
Oh, I question, Megan, I question everything. It's part of the Felger and Maz show in me. It's part of
you can question it, but there's no rules against it, right? There's no concussion,
Exactly.
There's no protocol, right?
Right. I had
Roman
Paul
doesn't
Heyman
have
on
to
the
report
podcast.
it. He doesn't have to be on the injury report.
No, I'm told the internet tells me that y'all have internal injury reports, and then it gets out to the internet, including a list of like who's going where and what matches and who signed the contracts and who isn't. I mean, you're a high-ranking member.
You gotta be careful. The internet also told me Alexa Bliss was not coming back, and she came back. So you gotta be careful.
The internet also told me that she signed the day of the Rumble. So both things can be true.
Yeah, but the internet was late on that one. The internet was like, oh, after you saw her, now sources confirm that she did resign. But earlier in the day, they were far apart.
Well, there's that high-ranking member of
No,
TKO
I didn't know that.
and
That's what the
WWE.
internet said. I did not report that. The internet said earlier in the day they were far apart. And I was like, I guess we're not going to see Alexa Bliss. And then her music hit. Love that it
And
was the
then
old music too. Love it.
And then your boss, Michael Cole, is like, I thought the internet, blah. Oh, Michael Cole with the great blah. And by the way, I love that Michael Cole is unlocked. Like, he's a different person the last 2 years.
He's a
And it's
legend.
great. You can see that he is just having fun, which is something that I don't necessarily think he was doing before, but he's having a blast out there. And you can tell
Yeah.
the energy's different. The energy's
This
so
is
much better with him. And he's really the voice of WWE now. Like,
Of
he's been
course
doing
he
it
is.
longer than
He's the GOAT.
Gorilla, He Who Shall Not Be Said, Jesse, Bobby Heenan, Jim Ross, who I love. But Michael Cole's been doing it longer than all of them.
He's the GOAT.
You know, so I'm glad that he's unlocked. I'm glad that he's having fun. So the women's rumble. So this one hurt me personally. I was happy that Charlotte won. I was thrilled. There are a few bigger Charlotte Flair honks than me. I love her to death. She's always been great to me. She's the top performer in women's history, I believe. She's been good to my daughter too, which goes a longer way. But Charlotte goes out there, she wins. It felt like a mixed reaction. And then she goes out on Raw and she's telling her story because she had quite the year of rehab, mentally, physically, everything. She comes back, puts on a great performance, wins, goes out there wanting to bare her soul, and Cleveland booed her. And it wasn't just like it to me, it felt like get out of my ring boos from that crowd. And that is just so offensive to me because Charlotte, top tier performer. And the last time something like this happened was, if I remember, it was Dallas, Texas. It was Money in the Bank. It was Charlotte versus Rhea Ripley, which had questionable build behind it. And they start off and the crowd's just booing the match. And Charlotte tells the Dallas crowd that they're number one. And then she tears the house down with Rhea Ripley. Great match, fabulous match. And the crowd is cheering, right? So it's like the fans don't want Charlotte in the spot, but then they see her perform. It's like, oh yeah, she's great. And so
she's the best. I mean, she's the best wrestler in the history of the women's division.
As a high-ranking member of TKO and WWE, you can say that she's the best ever to do it.
Well, I had a similar reaction to you. It was like, oh, why are they booing Charlotte? She's really speaking from her heart here, right? But I was so impressed by the way that Charlotte then turned it on the crowd. It was like, you can boo me, you can woo me, you can love me, you can love to hate me. And then Mommy's music hit. And it all clicked in my head that this is why they are booing Charlotte Flair. Because while Charlotte Flair is top of the mountain, the best in the industry, a history maker in the women's division. The women's division has changed in the year and a half that Charlotte has been gone. This is not the same Rhea Ripley that Charlotte Flair went one-on-one with at Money in the Bank or at WrestleMania 39. When Charlotte Flair went up against Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 39, it was the match of the year. They tore the house down, but that was when Rhea Ripley was still proving that she belongs. Not only has Rhea Ripley proven that she's belonged, she's taken it to another level. And I mean, now Charlotte said to her, I still see you as a kid. If Rhea versus Charlotte is what we get at WrestleMania 41, it's about Rhea proving that she's better than Charlotte. Not only does she belong, but she has surpassed the queen.
Yeah, and I'm as somebody who's going to be in Vegas, I want that to be the match that Charlotte picks, is to go against Rhea Ripley.
I
do. I absolutely do. And I love Tiffany Stratton to death. I think she's great. I think she's super talented. Great. Like I will tell you all sorts of great things about Tiffy time. I personally want to be in attendance for Charlotte versus Rhea 3 as far as WrestleManias go, because that's a night one main event. That is absolutely the last match that goes on the show. And that's why I want to see it.
I don't think you can go wrong, but I've really, ever since I've seen Tiffany Stratton, like ever since you realize like, oh, she has it. Oh, she is a star, which I think we all realized when she won the NXT championship. It was like, oh, she's going to be big. And she's lived up to all of the hype. I think we've all kind of fantasy booked Charlotte Flair, Tiffany Stratton. And we're going to get it at some point anyways. I would love to see it at WrestleMania 40.
I
But
don't
I mean,
think
to your point, Rhea Charlotte can't go wrong with that either.
I don't think they've scratched the surface on how good Tiffany Stratton
Oh,
can
no
be, both in
question.
the
I agree
ring
with
and
you. Yes.
promos, right? And because you've done the NXT pre and post game show, and I'm obsessed with the NXT product. I'm pretty much mobbed up with all of them now. They did the Tiffy time character when she came back from injury, and they pardon the pun, but they Barbie dolled her up.
They did.
And they had these vignettes of her shopping the streets, her doing Tiffany epiphanies, all that stuff. We have yet to see that really dig in on Raw or on SmackDown. And I can't wait until more people get to see Tiffy time and how deep her character is beyond just like outsmarting Nia Jax and Candice LeRae and
I
winning the title.
agree. We're so lucky we watch NXT because we are in on all of this stuff. We know firsthand how good Tiffany Stratton is. We know how much of a star Jada Parker's going to be. So like
Yep.
when Jada Parker came out, I was like, "My girl, let's go." Like, I feel like, I mean, if you're not watching NXT, you should be. NXT rules.
And Charlotte Flair is about to be on NXT in a few minutes.
I
to
know.
see-
She's
yeah,
flying there. I mean, is Julia going to impress her? We'll find out.
we'll find out. And that's when you get Braun Breaker, who I think is still like, I didn't know what or who I Am Speed was, and then they said, "Oh,
I
he's
Show
got
Speed?
35 million." Yeah, I still don't know who he is because I'm not
How many times have you watched the Braun Breaker spearing I
more
Show
than
Speed
100
video?
from all the angles.
It's so cool.
He told me, Braun Breaker, about a year ago, told me that I asked him about the potential of a match with Roman. And he's like, "Look at the tape. My spear is better. One day I'll show it." And I still have the clip. It actually, in the middle of him saying it, like the video kind of chopped out. I'm like, "Oh no, WWE PR cut this out because they didn't want it there." But I got enough of it. But Braun Breaker, like, he's got star written all over him. And he's got a presence, and he played football. And we don't know how good he's going to be. But if you saw him in NXT, you see he's got something. And he's going to be a main eventer at WrestleMania at some point in his career.
How about Roman taking a spear from Braun in the Rumble?
Right?
It's pretty
Right?
cool.
That shows the respect. That's one of those things. And it reminded me of years ago when there was a moment in Chicago where Survivor Series and it was SmackDown versus NXT versus Raw, and Roman did the same thing for some of the NXT guys. Kevin Owen did the same thing for Tommaso Ciampa. Like, there's when the Raw and the SmackDown talents, superstars, see something in an NXT performer, they take advantage of it. Charlotte years ago wins the Rumble, picks Rhea Ripley to bring it back. Like, they know.
Bailey's been working. I mean, she's been going down to NXT and she has her beef with Roxanne right now, but I think like a lot of the main roster talent has been going down to NXT, and I think it's awesome because that really is the future of the business, and there's so many bright stars down there. Again, if you're not watching NXT, start watching.
You're missing out.
Yeah.
Roxanne Perez, almost 90 minutes in that Rumble? Like,
She
shout
broke a
out to her.
record.
She's the prodigy.
But not surprising to any of us who have been watching.
Exactly. She's great. We talked a little bit about John Cena and how he inserted himself in the Elimination Chamber, and his press conference after was a little weird for John. John's like, "Yeah, I deserve it. What's best for business is for me to get number 17, main event WrestleMania, and more so that I can shake the hand of the person who gets 18. Very kind of weird, like, and this is kind of one of the things that I like about WWE's character development, evolution, is that there's shades of good in McIntyre, Rollins, Owens. There's shades of bad in Sammy, Cody, Cena. So there's all the shades of gray, and the crowd gets to really decide. So I guess here's my long way of my question is, Cena wins the chamber, right? And then picks Cody? Question mark?
I could see it. I mean, I definitely could. It was a different side of him. Like the last time we saw Cena at a press conference, he was fielding questions for 30
Ever.
minutes. This was not the same Cena, but I like your point when you're bringing up, like, there's a lot of times it was like, when Seth and Punk were going at each other, I was like, I kind of agree with Seth, right?
Yeah.
I know the crowd agrees with Punk, but like, I see Seth's point of view. A lot of instances, like, I see Kevin's point of view, Drew McIntyre. I mean, a lot of where he was coming from with everything that he's still so mad about that's bloodline related. Like, there is merit to all of that. Look, I think when Cena announced that he was having his final farewell tour here, immediately they're like, what matches do I want to see? Oh, I want to see Punk Cena. Oh, I want to see Cody Cena. Oh, I want to see Randy Cena. I mean, like the list goes on and on and on. So I would hope at WrestleMania we get one of them. But he's got to win the chamber. And it's like, if Cena wins the chamber, then what's this favor with Punk? And how does Punk main event WrestleMania if we're going to have Cena Cody, right? Like, where does Drew fit into this? Where does Seth fit into all of this? So I think there's a lot of pieces. But sure, I would love to see.
What if Cena doesn't win the chamber and just goes to Triple H and goes, put me in the main event?
Get some heat on him, would he? I don't know. Would he? Could that get heat on Cena?
Oh, absolutely it would.
I don't know. We'll see.
I do, as a high-ranking member of WWE, and I'll stop teasing you about it because it's the Paul Perillo thing. Do you know, and if you do know and you can't say, I understand. I'm putting you on the spot on a live show, so I understand if you know and you can't say. Do you know when John's coming to Boston?
I don't know any of those details. I really don't. Okay. I don't know when WWE is going to Boston. I'm always like, where's the show tonight? Cleveland? Oh.
Because I've been waiting, because I know that they're in Madison Square Garden March 11th, I think it is. And usually when they do New York, they do Boston, but they have less than a month to promote Boston. And so it makes me think that they're not doing Boston until the summertime. And it leads me to other thoughts that I don't want to trouble you with. Because I don't actually want to get you in trouble. I just want to tease getting you in trouble. And
no, I haven't heard anything. I usually find out where the shows are the same time that you find out where the shows are.
That's fair. Communication is a thing that most companies have issues with internally. That's me and my business. That's not necessarily you and your business. There was a long-standing rumor that SummerSlam was going to be in Foxborough and so on. That's been out there, but that obviously did not happen. It's 2 nights in New Jersey instead. $7 million can make a wild difference in where locations of events are. Cody versus Owens, right? This match banged, and it was violent, and it was a different level of violence. Usually the ladder isn't used as a weapon as violently as it was. Just your overall thoughts on Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes retaining the WWE Championship.
I mean, wow, this has been quite the journey, right, for Cody Rhodes. I feel like it was like Saturday night's main event. It was like, oh, Cody has snapped. Cody's so lovable, Mr. Politician. Everybody loves Cody.
You love Cody. You can love Cody.
I do love Cody. I think he's hard. How could you hate Cody? I mean, you could probably do a whole podcast on how you could hate Cody because you're a bloodline guy. But I think throughout this saga with Kevin Owens, we've really gotten to see a different side of Cody Rhodes, a more intense side. This champion who had so many people having his back, realizing, and Michael Cole said it on commentary, that he's learning as a champion in WWE, holding that undisputed championship, you don't have friends because all of the friends are looking right at that title. And Cody has had to learn that the hard way with one of his former best friends, Kevin Owens, right? But I thought that match was fantastic. The Alabama Slam, Kevin was beat up, bloodied, and then we got to see him on Monday Night Raw put Sami Zayn in a package pile driver, wearing the Sami Zayn Forever t-shirt with the black eye and everything. I love what Kevin Owens is doing right now. I love what Cody Rhodes is doing right now. I'm very concerned for Sami Zayn because Sami Zayn, he's got too many friends, right? He has like some of the same problems that Cody had, right? He loves everybody. It's like, I know Kevin's your best friend, but look at what Kevin's doing right now. Look at what he's doing. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next, especially as it relates to Kevin Owens.
It feels like that Sammy and Kevin being on the opposite sides of each other, like the world is at peace, the world is healing, the world is in the right spot. And trust me, I love the fact that they got to main event to WrestleMania against the Usos and win the tag belts years ago. But like the depth of story, and I was actually thinking about this and said it on last week's show, that that the seeds have been planted that eventually Kevin Owens is going to get the WWE Championship. And I thought that Sami Zayn is going to win next year's Royal Rumble. And there's going to be a scenario where it's Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn for the WWE Championship next year. And now
look at this long-term booking. Wow.
Oh yeah. I asked when War Games was in Boston, I talked to Hunter, Paul Hunter, whatever. And he told me, he's like, we have a long-term story. We have short-term, like we have all these layers of stories. And so you're seeing it more blatantly with Braun Breaker and Jacob Fatu. Like you're seeing them in the ring at the same time as a teaser for something that's coming. And they're getting samples of like the crowd. I mean, that's the beauty of the Royal Rumble matches, is that it's a new match every 2 minutes or 90 seconds or whatever the clock timer is. And you get to have these moments where it's Cena, Roman, Punk, here comes Seth Rollins music. Or it's, hey, here's Joe Hendry, and now he's just gotten thrown out by Roman Reigns. Or it's Braun Breaker spearing Roman Reigns. Or it's Sheamus standing in the corner, like looking at awe at Joe Hendry. Or it's Drew McIntyre being thrown out by Damian Priest. Or it's LA Knight trying to get revenge on Nakamura. Like,
or maybe it's Liv Morgan eliminating Alexa Bliss. I don't know.
And
that was another moment I said, ooh, I like that.
It's CM Punk saying to Seth Rollins, or Kevin Owens, I've never lost to Logan Paul. And then Logan Paul dumps CM Punk out in the Royal Rumble match. There's all these things that they do teasers and see how it plans out. But that's a future match. Punk and Owens, that's a future match. Cody and Punk, that's a future match. It's all these teasers like, okay, the crowd like that, the crowd like that. That's how it ended up going from Rock and Roman last year to Cody and Roman for the main event of WrestleMania. And we got the final boss, Rock. And you, as the Rock's boss, can you tell him to get back in the ring and continue?
I know. I'm like, we talk about all of the, like the 6 that were left in the Royal Rumble, and it's like, who's going to face who? Are we going to have Cena and Cody? What is going on with Seth and Punk and Roman Reigns? And it's like, is the final boss ever going to show up? Because if the final boss shows up, like that changes the entire landscape of everything that we just talked about. And
we thought he was going to
be 31.
I think
the final boss can show up at any time. He is the final boss, right?
Yep. I thought he was going to be 31 at one point. I also feel strongly in saying that he's going to be in Vegas in some form doing something. Like he wouldn't miss that show for anything in the world. But, we'll see. I feel strongly that The Rock's going to be involved somehow in WrestleMania 41 in Vegas, which I will be at selfishly. Megan Morant, any final thoughts in the world of wrestling before I ask you a football question?
Wrestling's hot right now. It rules. I mean, we've been cooking. I feel like since last WrestleMania, even before that, like this time last year until now, like has there been a week where it's been like, it's kind of a boring show? Like it's crazy for a show that's 52 weeks a year. It feels like every week has been must watch, right? And I know like we're at our core, we're just big marks, but like it truly, the product has been fantastic.
Yeah, I don't think I walk away and be like, there wasn't 2 or 3 moments from Raw where I'm like asking questions about the next thing or looking forward to something like that. And that means that the company's in a really good place right now.
This is a side question, but do you have any theories on Chad Gable and this quest that he's going to go on in order to learn how to fend off luchadors?
I do. It's really dark though.
Oh.
It might be I have to make sure that he was Malachi Black.
Is it still in the take? Oh, who'd you say?
Malachi Black.
Okay, yeah, of course I know who that is.
Well, I had to remember because I did this on an earlier podcast. I misidentified one wrestler's company name with another company's wrestler's name. So I was like, he was Malachi Black in WWE, right? Yeah, I think so. But that's what I think. He's
Okay.
going to the dark side, and Malachi Black eventually will come into play, I think.
I love a speculation. I love a speculation.
Unless it is the Wyatt Six he's going to get help from, or it's going to be Scarlett and
Karrion
Cross.
Could be,
because Karrion Cross is like the troll wrestler now. I love Karrion Cross. I love Scarlett, but he goes around and he's like, yeah, this is about to happen to you. You're porked.
I know. He's been getting in everyone's business. He had a little heart-to-heart with Sami Zayn last night. Also, before we move on to football, is it at all weird to you that Liv and Dom just seem like they're fine? I mean, after Liv lost her title to Rhea Ripley, Dom was trying to holler at his ex-girlfriend, and Liv they seem okay.
I don't think that they're okay.
Okay.
I have a theory that Liv and Finn have been in kind of cahoots.
I mean, we never did find out about the hotel room card key.
And I think Finn and Liv have been in cahoots for a while. There's been a few unique looks. And if you're ever in a fight with your partner and there are other people in the room, because this happened a few weeks ago on Raw, where your arms are crossed back to somebody and you tell somebody else, hey, tell this person that. And then the other person says, oh, hey, tell this person that. It's a real fight right there between two people who may or may not be closer than we realize.
All right.
Hey, I'm here for a Dominik Mysterio Finn Balor match. I'm here for it.
I'm here for Dominik Mysterio against Rhea Ripley. Let's go.
I thought I love Dominik Mysterio because of course I do, because I like the villains. He is so talented. He walks to the ring, puts the mic to his face, and they boo him. And it's tremendous. I advocated 2 years ago for Dominik Mysterio to be the Money in the Bank winner. I advocated for it last year, which is Jey Uso should have won it last year, but he got the Rumble, so I'm cool with that now. But in real time, I was like, give Jey the briefcase. But he got the Rumble, so I'm happy about that. But Dominik Mysterio, the fact that he has only held the North American title as a singles title, that needs to be fixed soon. He needs to either be the U.S. champion, the Intercontinental champion, or one of the world champions. I mean, personally, Megan, if I could see Dominik Mysterio unseat Cody Rhodes as the WWE champion, life is made.
Look, it's crowded. It's crowded. We just spent, over like 38 minutes now talking about the depth on this roster. So, I mean, there's only so many titles, and Dom has been doing great stuff, and we will see who gets to hold those titles and when.
Oh, now I need to advocate for this more. I need Dominik as the world champion to beat Cody sooner rather than later. Football question for you, because you did cover the New England Patriots.
I sure did.
What is your biggest takeaway from the New England Patriots with their season, their off season? What do you know being connected with the Patriots? What do you think's going on here?
What do I think is going on with the Patriots? Wow. Well, it is kind of crazy to realize that they've been this bad for so long because I feel like
you cursed them by leaving.
I know. I mean, I'm like, gosh, has it really been that long since today I saw something. It was like, like the Patriots played the Eagles in the Super Bowl in 2017. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was almost 10 years ago. It was like, it feels like it was yesterday when the Patriots were still in this Brady era. And I think we're slowly but surely getting further and further away from it. And they can't really rely on that Patriots lore for that much longer. This past season was a total disaster. I was shocked that they moved on from Gerard Mayo. Completely shocked. I think they should have moved on from Gerard Mayo, but I really did not think we were going to see ownership actually go through with it and fire Gerard Mayo. Look, I like Vrabel. We all like Vrabel. because he's a former Patriot. He's proven himself as a coach. It's a little concerning to me because it's like, oh, we're just doing the Patriots thing again, right? And then bringing back Josh McDaniels. It's like, we're really just doing the Patriots thing again. I have a lot of we'll see thoughts about it. I also feel very we'll see about Drake May. Showed a lot of promise. Again, didn't win any games. Like truly
1-9. 1-9.
Like everybody is like, he's the guy. He's the guy. It's like, we did this with Mac Jones. And guess what? He wasn't the guy. Can we just like let it cook a little bit and see what it looks like next year before all of a sudden we start just putting these labels on quarterbacks as if they are the guy? Because guess what? Most of them are not the guy. But I do think it is good that you got a quarterback that shows a lot of promise, because you look at this year's draft and there's no quarterbacks that show really any promise in the draft. So they're kind of a mess down there in Foxborough, right? But I think they're making the steps to tidy things up. Will they spend in free agency? I hope so. Am I optimistic? No. No. I wish they had the first overall pick and then they could trade it back, but that didn't happen either. So
who would you take it for?
Are we doing this already? I mean, I should have like the Mike Felger drop right now. That's like, I'm not doing this right now. What is he going on about? The Michigan guy, right? He likes the Michigan guy. I'm told.
Well, let me ask it this way, Megan. Let me ask it a different way then. If you're not sure who to draft it for, would you trade number 4 for a player? Myles Garrett just requested a trade. Micah Parsons might be on the market. Would you trade number 4 for a particular player in the league?
I don't think they're at that point right now. I don't think they're at the point where they can, plug in.
There's a comment there I do want to pop in there. The Patriots are in their chaos era.
They are. I was going to say we're live. Where can I read these YouTube comments? Is this like the after show with better audio?
No, with better audio. Yeah, our audio was not great today.
No, look, on the app, it's great. On the app, I had no issues.
Yeah, it's because it's a different microphone. It's like a sports broadcaster's, and it's like right on your mouth type of thing. So you hear the breathing a little bit.
We did find out that Felger is the one with the whistly nose.
Yes. And so it's Dave O'Brien live from the Super Bowl whistling away. I'll get heat for that. But it's so the internet going out to us is good. The internet going down to them, not so great. There's it's layered. It's layered as to why the remote audio is not.
I don't want to see the Patriots take a receiver at 4. No, thank you. Offensive.
Would you draft Travis Hunter if he's there and play him at corner, and then you have 2 potential lockdown corners?
No, I would like an offensive or defensive lineman. I really would. I know it's not sexy. It's very boring. But that's what I would like. They are terrible up front on both sides of the ball.
I actually last year before the draft, I was like, they should trade down from 3 to 6 with the Giants. You take JJ McCarthy or you take an offensive lineman there at 6. And if they had done that and gotten the extra first round pick, they would have had 2 and 4.
Yeah, you still don't have a quarterback. But look, Drake May again, lots of promise, but we'll see.
But you have to be able to protect the quarterback. And that's kind of like you could have gotten away potentially with Jacoby Myers for the whole season. And yes, it would have been painful. Actually, this is interesting. You would have had 3 and 4. But this is interesting. Felger's guy, Mason Graham, is projected to go 5th to the Jaguars. So
hopefully he can pronounce Duval.
And he can do it a little bit better than the coach, who I'm told sounds a lot like me, which is scary. But yeah, the Patriots at 4 right now in a mock draft I'm looking at, they're taking Travis Hunter from Colorado.
It's too early for the mock drafts. Are you a Chiefs hater?
No, I want them to win. I want them to three-peat.
Yeah, I think
it's good for football I think it's good for football if you have the potential villain in place, if you have this all-time team. The NBA was successful with LeBron as the main villain. The Patriots were a great villain for everybody outside of New England. If Kansas City cheated a little bit more, they'd be more detestable in going for the three-peat. They're due for a scandal. I don't know what it is. I mean, the closest is they have is Taylor Swift is at all these games, and there's the theory that Travis Kelce's going to propose after they win the Super Bowl. And that would be ultimate, like that would be storytelling that WWE, would be like, oh, that's from our playbook.
Yeah,
Because they did that with John Cena and Nikki Bella one year.
We should get a halftime wedding. I would love it.
They did that with John Cena and Nikki Bella at WrestleMania 33, where John and Nikki win the match, and then John proposes. So why not do that on the Super Bowl?
Eagles fans are so much more insufferable than Chiefs fans, even though the Chiefs are going for a three-peat. I mean, they live in Kansas City. They're like, come on, let them have their moment. Philly fans, so much worse. So I am with you in cheering for the Chiefs.
Did you get a chance to catch today's show?
I caught a little bit of the end. I was actually just listening to Mad Dog Russo's interview. A little bit before we jumped on here.
So we were talking to Ben Volen of the Boston Globe, and it was the ultimate troll. It was the ultimate troll segment of about 5 minutes, where Felger has this realization of, oh my God, I should be trolling Patriots fans with the Eagles, and here's why: they beat you in this Super Bowl with a different coach and quarterback. They spend money, they draft well, and now they're back in the Super Bowl with a different coach, a different quarterback. And you haven't been able to figure out, you're on your second coach now, and you're on your third quarterback, and It's tremendous. You'll giggle at it. I'm sure there are people in Foxborough who are angry at us about that, but they're always angry at us. So it's okay.
I just really can't get behind Eagles fans. I really can't. They're quite the bunch.
They entertain me. So any closing thoughts overall, Megan?
Closing thoughts. I am excited for WrestleMania season. It's weird because WrestleMania is later this year, so we have some time on our road to WrestleMania. So this is going to be fun. I think we're in for a lot of twists and turns. And last year's road to WrestleMania was
wild,
legendary. And hopefully this year can. I mean, if this year even comes close to that, like, let's go, right? But I think it will match or top it. So
I can't think of a better place to spend Easter weekend than the Sin City of Las Vegas. And hopefully you'll be out there.
Hopefully
you'll be out
there. Fingers crossed. We'll see. I have to bring a child into the world first. So hopefully that all goes well.
It will go well. And Felger will criticize you if you're not back to work the next day.
All right. I'll do my best. I thought that was paternity leave. I think he likes maternity leave. I think he gives you at least a week. Paternity leave, you better be there the next day.
It's all subjective to what the show needs that day.
All right. We have a show to do today.
Yes. Which is one of the great lines that I came up with on the fly that I should have put on a t-shirt, but it's become a show philosophy. Megan Morant, you can catch her all over WWE TV. I hope to see you in Vegas for WrestleMania. If not, we'll gossip off the record about everything. And I hopefully did not get you in trouble tonight. Do you think I got you in trouble?
I don't know. My phone didn't ring yet. So I think I'm all right.
All right, good.
I mean, I know how many people we got watching this. Couple 100,000.
Oh yeah, we get the millions and millions of people watching.
All right, well, thanks for having me on, Jey Steele. This was a blast.
Thank you so much.
We'll go to the Kowloon someday.
Yes, you've never been, have you?
I know. I gotta get there.
All right, we got to get you to Kowloon one of these days. All right, everybody, enjoy your week of wrestling, and I will talk to you next week.